Good afternoon and welcome to the CCI Pandemic Check-In Series. I'm Brenda Hooper-Rowland from Johnsview Village, and today we have Tanya Hollick, the VP of Operations at Wilshire Blanchard. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, Brenda.
Good.
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I hear you started a new job. So what's it like starting a new job? Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
what's it like starting a new job in the middle of a pandemic?
Unusual, I think, is if I summed it up in one word, it was very strange to try and be onboarded by my team without having a team present. We do things like this a lot. We have all my team meetings are virtual, so I haven't actually met many of my managers live. A couple of them have come into the office where we have very strict social distancing protocols. So that was the other thing. On my first day when I came in, my instinct when I see another human is to stick my hand out and introduce myself. And we couldn't do that. So I had to walk around with my hands in my pockets.
What was their reaction? Did they try and do the same thing?
I think they were a little used to it because I hadn't been in the sort of pandemic protocol. They were used to it. So it didn't seem, I felt like I was offending them by not wanting to shake their hand, but they were okay with it because we're all trying to be as responsible as we can during this time. So there's what we do in the office is it's closed to the public, like many offices are, but because we're an essential service and business has to continue, we have the sanitization stations, we have masks and gloves everywhere. We have a rotating schedule where a minimum amount of people are allowed in the office, and we really have to take precautions because if someone in the office somehow contracts COVID or becomes an exposed risk somehow, we need to know who was in the office at what time and get people into self-quarantine, self-isolation situation so we don't spread it through the whole company. So we have a pretty strict in-out policy right now, which makes it even more strange. And then most of my meetings are like this, where we're just meeting on screen and waving and sharing drinks and jokes and pets online when we can, just to sort of lighten the mood because it is strange times for sure.
Right. Now, I find when I'm doing the video conferencing, one of the benefits is kind of humanized everything. We're also prim and proper when you're in a formal meeting, excuse me, but you get on Zoom and you have a cat like go through the camera or the kids come up, mommy, and you kind of just have to roll with it, right? So have you had any odd things happen in the middle of meetings that you've been in?
We had someone who was working from home, so not in a formal office, and someone who didn't have a home office dedicated before this and had to share space with kids that were being schooled at home. So he put himself in his basement and sort of hung a sheet in the background, which fell down during the meeting so we could see his furnace. So it happens, right? It happens, and that's okay, right? You have to be comfortable with that.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a big cost savings when you don't have to buy as many pairs of pants, right? Because normally people can see you from shoulders up.
From an operations point of view, and I know you're just getting started in your new job, but do you think that it will change the condominium industry and how we do our business? There's a lot of businesses that are shutting down their offices and going towards, people working from home. It's working and we can save a lot in overhead costs and things. Do you think that will come into play in this industry?
Absolutely. I hope it will. I think the condo world has been slow on the uptake to technology, where we're still mailing things where we could be sending them electronically and having savings in that respect. We still have, as much as we say we're trying to go green, there's still masses of paper and trees being killed to reproduce things that could be stored electronically effectively, shared equally effectively, and then having less burden on the environment and the waste of paper. Because what do you do with those stacks of paper after the meeting as board members, what have you, right? It goes into a recycling bin or it takes up precious square footage that you're paying to heat and cool your paper. Right. So I think we will see, I'm hoping that we will see some efficiencies come with this technology. And also, you sort of alluded to it earlier that normally we would pick up the phone and call someone, but now we have this still personal touch where we can be together live, and it gives a different vibe to the situation too. I think of conference calls that I've been on, and if you have multiple people, it's really hard to get things effectively done. People are talking over each other. And in this manner, it's almost like sitting in a boardroom where you be respectful of who's speaking when. You can make sure everyone's voice is heard. There's some efficiencies on getting things done. Instead of shuffling paper, you can share a screen. So there's a lot of ways that we can create some efficiencies, reduce some of the redundancies, and be a little friendlier to the environment all at the same time. So I know we're all becoming Zoom experts in this time.
It's true.
And we'll see as time goes. I mean, we've got a little bit of a break where condos don't have to hold their AGMs. They won't be held accountable for missing their deadlines. And some now are starting to try and do them virtually online. And let's just see how that goes. There's a time for networking, and maybe that'll be saved for more social events when we're allowed to be socially together again.
True.
But maybe for business purposes,
Right.
this is the way to do it, to be effective. And I think from the manager's side too, if I took the board hat off and put the manager hat on, there's a respective time and boundaries, as you know, of traveling to and from meetings, how late the meetings go, and then the manager still has to drive home. Their kids are probably asleep. They haven't had dinner. In the winter time, they could be driving in unsafe conditions if they have to be there live. So this saves a lot of time and stress from the manager side too, where they could have an effective meeting remotely.
Right. I think it's also going to change AGMs. We just hosted a virtual town hall meeting on Wednesday night with our homeowners. And it was a lot of work for the management because it's not normal, right? There's so many, you want to dot your I's and cross your T's for the meeting. And so it was a little bit of a stress because it was something new. But on the other hand, I think more residents actually participated in the meeting than normal. I still don't know the end result of how many people, but when you can just log in and you have homeowners that maybe don't live here or don't want to leave their kids at home in order to go somewhere off site to a meeting, I think we will see in a lot of condos that this may be, and it saves on travel for professionals coming in and stuff like that as well. I think you may see a switch towards that in the future as well.
And even from once we get used to what the administration looks like electronically, that's one thing, but you're also saving costs on a venue, depending on how large your condo is and the space that you can't get space now. But if we start fast forward to post COVID, then I mean the spaces are expensive and becoming more and more expensive, and why not have it online where you can still have participation and still get your voting and the business requirements of the condo corporation together.
Absolutely. So after this is all over, what are you looking forward to doing first when a lot of things are lifted? What are you waiting and urging to do?
Well, I promised my team we'd have a big party just so we could get together. Finally together live in person, and to appreciate and thank them and recognize the extra effort, because I think there's a perception out there that if you're working from home that you're on vacation, which is not the case. I was on another webinar with CCI Huronia, and we likened it to creating these pandemic policies and procedures while you're in the middle of a storm, protecting this house of cards in the middle of a hurricane and getting all the other work done that still needs to get done. So I really take my hat off to the property managers in the field of getting through this and having the patience when they're getting pressure to open amenities, when they're getting demands from residents that want something done immediately. One of the things I've recognized is things have slowed down quite a bit with COVID. It was hard to get the sanitizer. Things got stuck at the border. Just ordering. Businesses are shutting down, so your normal suppliers might not be available. So it's really trying to do all that coordination to be able to deliver the excellent customer service without compromising people's health and safety. So creating that balance is certainly a struggle, which I appreciate the managers have persevered through. Being recognized as an essential service comes with the responsibility too.
Absolutely. And like you say, you know, nobody should consider that because managers are working from home, they're not um, working, because I mean, most of the people that I know are working more hours actually than they were before. It's just that they can fit other, you know, little things in between, get up from their desk that maybe they wouldn't do at the office, and kind of walk around, regroup, and come back, and that type of thing. And there are other stresses with it, where they're now saying that people that are on back to back to back Zoom meetings are now getting exhausted, and you know, because you're on camera at the same. So you know, there's some other new challenges and that are coming up that we're all going to have to figure out a way what's the best balance of using these new tools as well. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting as we go on. So one last question I have for you. When the pandemic over, what are you going to be most happy that you won't have to do anymore, or you'll be glad it's over type of thing?
I think it's probably the distancing. I mean, that's hard to do. I'd like to be able to go to the sites. I'd like to be able to engage with clients. I'd like to be able to attend meetings where necessary. I'd like to be able to provide that support in a more hands-on way instead of just on screen here. That I think it just provide. I think that personal human touch is what I'm missing.
Right.
This satisfies a small need temporarily, but it's that human interaction that keeps us all in the property management business that I'm looking forward to.
Fantastic. Well, that is the end of our chat for today. I thank you so much, Tanya, for joining me. And I would like to thank everybody for joining the CCI Pandemic Check-In series. And I hope you'll check in on the other series that are also posted on our website. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Brenda. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
This is Tanya Halleck, the president of CCI Toronto. CCI Toronto can help your condo achieve social and financial success. Thank you for listening.